established family guns were used. And if they came from Paul's truck was at the house. So where were they?
And how did they get down there?
Yeah, how did they get down there? I mean, it's normal for y'all to leave your keys in the cars. However, if somebody showed up and did this, they're not going to take Paul's truck back to the house and leave the key in it.
Fascinating stuff from this third interview of Alec Murdaugh. He's out of the car and he's in an actual interview room. Let's bring in our guest, still with us, host of the Murdaugh Family Murders Impact of Influence podcast, Matt Harris. Joining me now in Alexandria, Virginia, body language expert, New York Times bestselling author of You Can't Lie to Me. Janine Driver is with us. You can check her out on TikTok at Body Language Institute. All right, thank you both. Let's get right to another piece of this third interview, right? This is the third interview with Alec Murdaugh, 2 months after the murders. Here they are talking, and it's really Alec asking some questions here. Let's watch.
Can you tell me for sure, did either one of them live after they were shot first time?
Not long.
What does that mean?
The shooting happened very quickly. Very quickly.
Is this one person, two persons, three persons?
I've got 2 guns. I've got 2 different types of ammunition. It's hard to say. It is hard to say.
Yeah, neither one of them slept for very long.
Matter of seconds. Did that.
Wow. Is there enough movement there for you, Janine, in all that? Before you analyze that, Matt, give us a little context here in terms of how information is coming out during the course of this, right? So this is 2 months later. What is happening? Like, what is public information? Who knows what about what happened at this point?
Well, at that point, well, it started off in one way, and this was July, the interview, I believe, right? Or August, the interview.
August, yes.
August 11th. Yeah, August 11th. So the Labor Day incident hadn't happened, so the financial crimes were not out yet. The time that he left Moselle to go to his mom's house, that wasn't out yet. A lot of this wasn't public, and so when he brings up some of these facts to Alec about the video of him at the dog kennel, although he said that the kid told him, or the Snapchat video, he doesn't know any of that. None of us know all that. At this point in August, it's still people saying, poor Alec, and this is a horrible situation.
All right, Janine Driver, his body's moving all over the place. What did you see? What does it mean?
All right, Vinny. Just before that, we have his body angled towards the door. We face our belly button in the direction we want to head. So his belly button is facing out of there towards the door. And this is unique to this part of the clip because here what we see is we see him implode. His belly button is pushed way back. I call this naval intelligence, paying attention to that center mass right there, your belly button. He collapses in. You see this low-level pacifying in between his legs. He's squeezing his hands, but this is something else the everyday person may see and not recognize. When people are closing their legs like this and squeezing their legs back and forth with their hands along for the ride, this is in my world something called exploring. Exploring is discovering alternatives. It's seeing something other people might not be seeing. So it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing this exploring activity. By the way, everyone around the world does this movement unless you are paralyzed. So whether you're in Russia or China, or in the Carolinas, you will see people doing this spreading and enclosing. And if you are talking to someone who sends you emails or text messages with weird creative stuff and emojis and all this crazy stuff, watch their body language. I promise you, they probably spread and enclose quite a bit. So we see this. This is in the moments where he's trying to discover alternatives. So he's exploring in this moment, asking the questions, pacifying, which indicates high stress and anxiety. His stress has gone through the roof right here.
Okay, now let's get to the ultimate question here in the interrogation. This is, this is it. This is like the moment. Take a look.
Did you kill Maggie?
No. Did I kill my wife?
Yes, sir.
No, David.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not know who did.
Did you kill Paul?
No, I did not kill Paul.
Do you know who did?
No, sir, I do not know who did. Do you think I killed Maggie?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts
I
take me.
understand that. And you think I killed Paul?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts take me, and I don't have anything that points to anybody else at this time.
So does that mean that I am a suspect?
You were still in, like I told Corey earlier, you were still in this. With everything that we've talked about, with the family guns, the ammunition, nobody else's DNA. I have to put my beliefs aside and go with the facts.
Go ahead, Janine. This is the big question, right?
This is a smoking gun right here, Vinny. I'm jumping out of my seat. I'll be playing this in every single detective deception class I teach law enforcement moving forward. First of all, he repeats the question. That's a stalling technique. Are you asking me if I killed my family? Then he says, no, I did not. First of all, the strongest denial, anything. I don't care if you're asking your significant other if they've cheated, if your kids are doing edibles, or if it's murder of your wife and your teenage son. The strongest denial is always no, period. Are you on heroin right now, Vinny? No. Not no, absolutely not. Not no, what kind of person do you think I am? Are you asking me if I'm doing heroin? Those are weak denials. The strongest denial is a no. That's number one. Next, there's something called statement analysis invented by a guy named Mark McGlish. Amazing. He's got great books on this topic. There are words that have hidden meaning. And what he has said here is he said, do you think I killed Maggie? He then says, do you think I killed Paul? We can take out the beginning, Vinny, and you at home. Do you think? And the statement says what? I killed Maggie. I killed Paul. If you're asking your significant other, did you cheat on me? Do you think I'm the kind of person that I would cheat on you? Well, that's a weak denial. Now you say, are you calling me a cheater? Do you think I cheated on you? Pay attention. Are you saying, he literally says, do you think I killed Paul? Do you think I killed Maggie? This is huge in my world with statement analysis. You can take words off the beginning and the end, but the statement itself stays in the middle. I won't talk about some other murder cases, but look at Jean-Benet Ramsey case. Listen on how people answered that same exact question, and you be the judge there. Last but not least, his tone of voice goes down when asked the question right out of the gate. Over 90% of the time, Vinny, and you at home, when someone is being deceptive or there's a spike in the stress and anxiety, there's a change in tone and pitch. It can go down, which is indicative of sadness, or it can go up. And when our tone goes up, I already answered this question 5 times. I've already said this. They are overselling, convinced, not conveying. So here his tone goes down. It's connected with sadness, but we don't know what the catalyst is for that sadness. This is right here, 5 hot spots. In what, 15 seconds? 5 deceptive hot spots here. This right here for me is a huge smoking gun.
The big one. All right, Matt Harris, part of this interview, Alec is talking about the internet and everything that's going on, right? So is he a sort of a suspect in the rumor mill of the chatter surrounding this double murder at this point?
Well, yeah, he is. I mean, you have that out there. You have, if you want to go down the rumor tree, there's, that he did it. That comes out as it would be. The wife and the son are murdered, and he's there. You have the drug connection. People start talking about that maybe there was some sort of hit on them because of what Alec was tied up with. You have the boat incident, maybe causing someone to get revenge, although that was pretty much quickly gotten rid of because they did all the DNA and voluntarily gave all that information. Most people wouldn't think they're capable of that sort of thing. So it was out there. I don't think the full-blown Alec Murdaugh is a murderer happened until that Labor Day weekend. That incident with Eddie Smith and the story about the prescription drug abuse, all that is when it became, okay, this guy this guy, because then all of a sudden all the stories came out about how much he was stealing and how many millions of dollars he had taken. That's when it snowballed against Alec really strong.
All right, Matt Harris staying with us, Janine Driver staying with us. More body language analysis, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the third interview. A little more rocking by Alec Murdaugh. He's always rocking. What does it mean? What does it tell us?
A Wisconsin woman accused of killing her friend with eye drops.
And then defrauding her for over $250,000.
The state believes this defendant has evidenced her capacity to take advantage of at-risk individuals.
Was the victim trying to commit suicide?
Or was she murdered for money?
The Eye Drops murder trial. Live coverage coming soon on Court TV.
I'm sorry. No, don't apologize. You can do this? I can do it.
Another interview, and Alec Murdaugh again getting emotional. This is the third interview 2 months after the murders. And once again, in those emotional times, there's always a lawyer there to put his hand on Alec's shoulder. Fascinating to watch. All right, so another theme that we've caught on to here in watching Alec Murdaugh in the courtroom and in these interviews is that he tends to, from time to time, rock back and forth. Let's take a look now here again in this third interview 2 months after the double murder. Once again, some rocking by Alec Murdaugh.
And I know when you were at the office, you were working on motions, and some of those motions you dealt with were for Paul's, the boat accident, or the boat case.
I'm not really doing the legal work.
I understand, but you know, you're Paul's dad, you're a lawyer, you're definitely going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, so what were those motions? I mean, did it deal with Parker's, or was it the actual boat accident, or?
It was the civil case.
Okay. What time did you leave and get home?
Earlier than normal. I'd say 5:30.
That's when you left the office?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What time did Paul get home that night?
Me and Paul got there about the same time.
Okay.
Maybe he was a little bit later than me, or maybe a little bit earlier than me, but it was close to the same time.
Okay. And y'all rode around the farm. I believe you said 2 different trucks, or 2 different vehicles.
Yes, sir.
What were those 2 different vehicles?
We rode in the white pickup truck, and we rode in the black pickup truck.
So this is, again, 2 months afterwards. This is the interview. Jury watching that today. What the jury's also seen, though, is inside the courtroom, Alec Murdaugh at different times doing this rocking. Is it the same type of rocking? I don't know. We've got experts who will tell us, but let's take another look just to remind you of some of what we've seen inside that courtroom.
Has anyone discussed with you how he got faced away from where he was shot?
No.
Were the footprints smudged as if he was turning?
And there was blood dripping. He was stepping in the blood and leaving his own footwear impressions in the blood. I don't know that it was smeared necessarily.
Well, we also know that a second shot, literally his head exploded, his brain flew out.
Okay, so it's something clearly that everyone is noticing and people are talking about it and we're seeing. So let's bring back in Janine Driver, body language expert. Matt Harris also with us. Janine, is it the same? Is it different? What does it mean?
It's very similar. So it's this repetitive motion. It's like a metronome. And what happens here is this is done with high stress and anxiety. if you think about the baby crying, right, the mother would rock the baby to sleep. Well, here's the interesting thing about these repetitive movements. They're done with high levels of stress, Vinny, and you at home. And it's connected to, and this is going to sound interesting, the inner ear, which is our sense of balance. It's called the vestibule system. And so this rocking, this repetitive rocking, like this metronome, it is calming us down. It's high stress. It's connected with the inner ear, which is the sense of balance and our spatial orientation. So when people get really bad news and they're almost first, what comes first is freeze, by the way. You think about cats and lions would attack us and they would look for movement, right? So first is freeze response. Then this is the second response to this high level of stress. So this constant rocking. If you've ever, I remember when my mom was dying of breast cancer, God rest her soul, 10 years ago, she told me when she couldn't sleep at night, she would play Rockabye Baby on the radio and rock herself to sleep. By the way, some people who have trouble sleeping, they have insomnia, they'll often rock themselves to sleep. So this is that comforting gesture. It is believed dopamine begins to drop into the body at this point. Dopamine is that relaxing chemical messenger. It affects our mood, our motivation, our sleep. It's that reward part. So he's comforting himself. This high stress is really coming at him here.
Matt, and this is something we've seen throughout the trial, both live inside the courtroom from Alec Murdaugh and also during various points of interviews that he has done.
Well, just remind me if I ever get accused of murder that I hope that Janine is not on the jury, because I'm a rocker. My buddies always talk about how I rock all the time. She got me in the electric chair in about 38 seconds. So that just remind me of that. She is excluded. She gets the strike. She's not on the jury. So yeah, he rocks. But I don't know. I am constantly told my friends that I often do that too. So. What does it mean? I just don't want her in the jury if I'm ever accused.
Janine, what does it mean? We've got Matt rocking all the time, too.
Hey, just don't kill someone, Matt, and then you don't have to worry about who's on the jury. Let's start there.
I'm falsely accused.
Hey, listen, is there such a thing? Hey, listen, this is soothing and pacifying, and I love that you brought this up, Matt, because even though we see it, even though it is connected with the sense of balance in the inner ear, even though it is dumping dopamine in those high moments of relaxation because stress is happening, we do not know what the catalyst is. And I think that this is a really good point. We don't know what the catalyst is. I just got from the last segment, I got a message here from a police officer, a friend of mine named Gary Moore here in Alexandria, Virginia. He said, wait a minute, it sounds to me you think he's guilty. What's your evidence, Janine? He investigates murders. And I said, listen, in my expert opinion, based on a whole bunch of behavior and word choices, he becomes a major suspect for me, and I won't be surprised if the jury, in the end, finds him guilty.
We shall see.
I've trained the FBI, the CIA. I've been doing this for 30 years. We don't know the catalyst, though, but for sure, this is a comforting gesture that we're seeing him do.
All right, great to have you both with us. Matt Harris, check out the podcast, Murdaugh Family Murders, Impact of Influence. So in-depth, so enlightening. And Janine Driver, thank you again. Great to have you, giving us a little bit of insight into what his body's saying when his lips are moving or even when he's just sitting there.